They grieved a premature grief. They mourned the passing that came years before its time. And they will never forget how 7-year-old Dantrell Davis died. Good evening, I'm Mark Norman.
And I'm Jackie Bange. Hundreds packed into a Southside funeral chapel today, still not wanting to believe what was happening. The service was for Dantrell Davis, a first grader shot to death on his way to school. Channel 5 Sharon Wright reports.
A mother's grief so deep, it touches the soul. This mother, Annette Davis. Her baby, Dantrell Davis, just 7 years old. You can see her pain. You see she was holding Dantrell's hand, walking him to school, when a sniper's bullet made young Dantrell its target.
Oh, Father, we pray right now that you give us the courage and the strength to go forth into these streets and carry the message that it must stop now.
It happened here at Cabrini Green Tuesday. Dantrell and his mom were crossing this open stretch of blacktop when he was shot dead. Police have charged 33-year-old Anthony Garrett with Dantrell's murder.
I'm numb. You know, I see him there. And to me, it's sleeping. It's peace of mind. But he don't have to run and hide nowhere when they go to shoot me.
They called him Danny Boy. So full of life, yet he had been through so much. Severely burned in a fire a year ago. He lost his dad a month ago. Today they would speak of banding together, of searching for solutions. Dantrell would be a symbol of unity, not just for this family, this community, but for all families, all communities. Still, there would be no erasing the pain.
I still want him to be with me a little while.
But in the words of Danny's great-grandmother, perhaps this senseless death of this innocent child will indeed be an awakening for people to come together and band together in love. Sharon Wright, Channel 5 News.
Davis became the city's 27th homicide victim this year, 13 years old or younger. Most are innocent victims caught up in the crossfire of gang warfare.
In other news this evening, a robbery suspect is in critical condition tonight after being shot by a Chicago police officer. 25-year-old Herbert Byers of Milwaukee was critically wounded after he was shot in the legs. Authorities say he was trying to rob the G-Mode clothing store here at 79th and Cottage Grove. The wife of the store owner flagged down a patrolman from the Gresham district. That's when the officer opened fire on the suspect. A police investigation is now underway.
Meanwhile, a family in the Austin neighborhood tries to understand why their 15-year-old son is dead. Police say Zyron Ramsey was shot last night because he didn't react fast enough to the demands of two robbers. Details from Channel 5's Gina Tedesco.
Family members try to console each other, stunned and outraged over the death of Zyron Ramsey, a 15-year-old boy. Police say he was shot because he wasn't moving fast enough in handing over his starter jacket to robbers.
Someone took my son's life senseless. Just totally unnecessary.
And it's just an emptiness in my heart right now that I just can't express it.
In the Austin neighborhood last night, two men approached Zyron and another boy demanding their jackets and money. The other boy quickly handed over his jacket, but not Zyron.
I seen a guy shoot a guy in the head and ran down the street. And I went in the house, called the police. I dialed 911.
He was all on the ground, and they were saying he'd been shot in the head. They were telling him to lay down because he was trying to get back up.
Doctors here at Mount Sinai Hospital put Zyron on life support systems, but he could not hold on. Zyron died less than a day after the shooting.
I'm hurt, very hurt.
The family says Zyron wanted to be a police officer because his dad was a Cook County deputy sheriff 16 years. Now, a father's dream of seeing his son follow in his footsteps is gone. Wilson Ramsey says he's seen the gangs and drugs get a foothold in his neighborhood, and he hears about youngsters getting shot all the time.
And these things must stop. They must stop. We must come together and begin to fight these type of situations here.
For Zyron's 14-year-old cousin Calvin, the violence is hard to understand. Calvin's mother doesn't know what to tell her boy.
We all gonna miss him. We're gonna miss him very much.
It's my son. It could be your son. It could be anyone else's son tomorrow.
Gina Tedesco, Channel 5 News.
Police are interviewing witnesses in a search for the two suspects.
Tonight, damage is estimated at $400,000 in a fire at Elk Grove High School today. Officials say the blaze started in the school gymnasium under the bleachers where rug material is stored. The fire damaged the floor of the gym and parts of the roof before being eventually put out by firefighters. The building was unoccupied when the fire broke out. No one was hurt and no cause has been determined, but arson has not been ruled out.
In Rockford, a World War II vet is honored for his heroic actions. It was 48 years ago that Private Kenneth Stockin disabled a German tank and single-handedly held back the Nazis. Today he was honored with 3 medals of valor and a citation from Governor Edgar.
It's really nice. It's really kind of makes good memories and stuff, but people do care.
Stockin is 72. He lives with his family in Palmer, Illinois, just south of Springfield.
Well, Chicago's own astronaut, Dr. Mae Jemison, is celebrating yet another plateau this evening. It is her 36th birthday. Dr. Jemison had lots of help in celebrating tonight. Hundreds of well-wishers joined Jemison here at the DuSable Museum, including members of her sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha, who presented her with flowers. Lots of celebrities were also on hand for the homecoming bash for Jemison, the first African-American woman to travel in space. Also a fitting gift, Jemison got a special commemorative pin from the original Star Trek crew.
Ahead on the Channel 5 News, Chicago's major newspapers each name a favorite for the presidential race, but it is not the same favorite.
And how a demonstration billed as a tax protest turned out to be something more.
And why you may have had to take a number at the sign-up for a weight loss program based on smell. We'll explain.
The Channel 5 News is brought to you in part by your Lincoln Mercury dealer and by Walgreens.
Ever notice how everyone has something to say when it's time to choose the new ride?
Get something comfortable with some room to it.
Drive a hard bargain. Don't pay a cent for air conditioning.
And make them throw an automatic, too.
It's gotta have a serious sound system.
Girl, you got to look good.
Honey, one thing, get what you want.
The 1993 Mercury Tracer. They'll all think you listen to them. All this in the quality of a Mercury.
Say this is your standard size color print. Then this is Walgreens' big super size print. It's 37% bigger. And now, Walgreens announces a new low price, 24 super-sized prints, just $5.99 every day. And you still get Kodak Color Watch processing and next-day service. Try them now and get a second set for just a nickel a print. Walgreens Film Developing. Big prints, little prices, every day.
After 80 years, it's still worth waiting for. Natural whole grain goodness. Roman meal. It's that good. We couldn't improve the taste, so we improved the package. Roman meal. It's that good.
When it comes to filling your prescriptions, you look for the best balance. A quality pharmacy with low prices. That's Walmart Pharmacy.
With the low price on trusted brands like Alka-Seltzer Plus for fast, effective relief of many of the major symptoms of colds and flu. And MySelect 7, save on inserts and cream.
You can trust Walmart Pharmacy, where the quality stays high and the prices are always low. Walmart, always the low price, always.
With the election just over 2 weeks away, the presidential candidates are beginning to pick up important endorsements. The Chicago Sun-Times and the Tribune are among those naming their choices this weekend. In Michigan today, Bill Clinton picked up support from 200 current and former prosecutors. But the big endorsement of the day comes from the Chicago Sun-Times. In Sunday's edition, the newspaper states he offers this country direction. George Bush has brought it none. Perot is not forgotten. The paper says for all his foibles, he has contributed positively to the search for direction and leadership by focusing attention on the huge national debt. But there's a different story from the Chicago Tribune, which endorses President Bush. From the economy to foreign policy to decision-making, the paper says reservations about Clinton go far deeper than any of the political failings of George Bush. For Ross Perot, his, quote, no-nonsense approach would not be any more successful in moving the government than it was in moving General Motors. The president made no public appearances today, opting instead to prepare for the next debate. As for Ross Perot, he repeated his television campaign tonight by explaining his solutions to the nation's economic problems. In addition, he spent 30 minutes talking about his life. The third and final presidential debate takes place Monday night in East Lansing, Michigan.
The government is just too fat. That's what tax protesters had to say today when they converged on Daley Plaza. Members of various state taxpayer groups were here to oppose what they consider excess taxation and government waste. The Chicago rally was part of a nationwide taxpayer action day, but at times it seemed more like a political rally. Each group carried signs supporting their favorite presidential candidate, but speakers insisted that the rally was more about outrage than about endorsements.
It was a somber day in Germany as the nation paid its respects to ex-Chancellor Willy Brandt. Mikhail Gorbachev and other dignitaries were in Berlin for the funeral services. Inside Germany's parliament building, the former chancellor was praised for restoring Germany's standing in the world, while outside thousands of mourners lined up to watch as the flag-draped coffin was carried through the streets. Brandt died on October 8th at the age of 78.
And still ahead here on the Channel 5 News.
Yeah, I'm still in shock.
She must be living right. The nun who played the lottery and won big.
And we'll see why some people see nothing wrong with jumping off a bridge. We'll explain.
Comedians have always dreamed of being on The Tonight Show. Now you can not only watch your favorite comedians on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, you, like the hottest comedians, can be on it. All you have to do is be funny, be an amateur, and enter The Tonight Show with Jay Leno Comedy Challenge. And who knows, if you're the grand prize winner, your dream can come true, too.
Are you the funniest person in Chicago? Start preparing an original 3 to 5 minute stand-up comedy routine. And stay tuned to Channel 5 for what to do next.
You can't change the world, but you can change the way you live, like serving more Dannon fruit on the bottom yogurt to you and your family. You see, where the world is filled with stress, Dannon is filled with calcium, potassium, and real yogurt cultures. Where the world is relentless, Dannon is relaxing, rejuvenating. So while you can't change the world, your life is in your hands. Dannon yogurt, a very healthy habit for life.
This is a tough year. We're not executing the way we can, and we're not as productive as we should be. But we got a new player coming in who can help change all that. He's Rich Williamson. And when he gets to the U.S. Senate, he'll tackle the tough problems and bring jobs back to Illinois. Heck, if Rich were a football player, I'd make him a fullback and let him carry the ball. He's got my vote.
Jobs, growth, opportunity. Rich Williamson for U.S. Senate.
Greg, I think we have a problem here.
What do you mean? We can't keep all these Lincoln Town cars and Continentals in stock.
Yeah, I know, but have you been...
But nothing with Lincoln's room, ride, and comfort.
It's what a luxury car should be. Yes, I know that.
So what's the problem?
The problem is these trade-ins.
Well, our used car business should be booming.
Oh, it is, Greg. That's the problem. We have more Cadillacs than a Cadillac dealer. That's the problem. Big problem. Another one.
Well, there's something to be said for living right. A spin of the lotto wheel, and a California nun is a millionaire tonight. Sister Josephine Contris had already won a sure $40,000 lotto spin, but urged on by members of her order, she took a second spin and won the $1 million prize. Even though she's a millionaire, Sister Josephine says she won't give up her 54-year vow of poverty.
My community, and they'll decide. I'm just kind of making a little suggestion that I'd like it to be used for our retired sisters, to help them, because I'm almost one myself, so I want to make sure I get something out of this too.
Well, the nun says she is still in shock, but Sister Josephine says she will continue to play the lottery. In fact, she says the prize has restored her faith in the game.
Well, some 600 people, overweight people, signed up today for a national test to determine if your sense of smell can help you lose weight by turning off your urge to overeat. That's a theory being explored here at Mercy Hospital today in conjunction with the Smell and Taste Treatment Foundation. Those who signed up at noon were given nasal inhalants, which contain a chemical that is designed to suppress your appetite. But one half of the group received placebos. Dr. Alan Hirsch, who is heading up this study seen here, says the chemical's nutty-like smell fools the brain into thinking the stomach is full.
He said the hypothalamus, there's a direct connection between your nose and the hypothalamus. So one way to impact upon this area of brain that makes you feel satiated with smell.
The Research Foundation Smell Diet will run through April, and they are still looking for more people to take part in the study.
At a high school in Texas, the school spirit is so great that graduates come back 5, 10, even 70 years later. Members of the Conroe High School class of 1922 attended their 70th year reunion today. 6 of the 9 remaining class members were there, and one of them got to see his granddaughter crowned homecoming queen for the class of 1992.
All right. Now let's check in with Brent Miller. He said something earlier today about snow.
There's actually some snow up in Wisconsin. Up near Wausau, there's a thin little line of some snow. Just light stuff, and it's nothing to worry about. And if we see anything tonight, it might even be mixed with some drizzle. Just a precursor of what is to come in Chicago. People down on Michigan Avenue all bundled up tonight. And it is a rather cool evening around Chicago. Tomorrow, expect a sunny, windy, and cold day. Cold being temperatures in the 40s. And our conditions right now, southwest wind at 6, humidity 73%, barometer 30.28. High temperature for today. We got all the way up to 49, 28 the low, so we're significantly below the average of 63 and 42 degrees. It's a nice night for a stroll. How you doing there in the building on Michigan Avenue? And the temperatures around Chicago, deceptive now. We're in the warm sector of a little disturbance that's zipping toward us. It's actually gone up a degree at O'Hare.